Professor X, Xavier. Start the song. Start the music. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are and whenever you are. We hope it is good for you. Welcome to another edition of Geeks Who Like Sports. As always, in beautiful Los Angeles, California, I am Ray Carsillo, doing my best friend in traveled over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a galaxy far, far away. Lee Elias. Lee, how are you doing today?
What was my name, Ray?
You are Lee Elias, but
I'm the real
this
Elias.
weekend you were Lee Papyrus.
Yes, it's sitting there. I now, okay, for those of you listening, Ray just held up a picture of me that he had on display in his live performance on Free Comic Book Day. So, Ray, that leads me to believe that now there's a picture of me in your apartment that's just kind of there all the time, which makes me really, really happy.
You know, I actually had to put it in my bag at one point because I could swear the picture was turning towards me while I was playing video games, and it was watching me, and I'm like, it's looking right at me.
I, Leo, Lord of Havertown, command you.
Yes. Yes, so I had to put Lee Papyrus away for a while until today's show.
I got to be honest with you, the Papyrus thing and the Elias Papyrus thing didn't hit me until our producers told me about it, but it was funny. But Ray, listen, I got something else for you today. We always start with the non-sponsor of the day.
Yes.
If I were to say snap, crackle, and pop, you would say
Rice Krispies.
Right, but that's not today's non-sponsor. Today's non-sponsor is Crispy Rice.
Okay.
Because our producer Caitlin brought in Crispy Rice. For those of you listening, again, Signature, which is Acme. Acme's a grocery store on the East Coast. Their brand is called Crispy Rice. And I said, Caitlin, why would you buy Crispy Rice when there's Rice Krispies? And she said something, Ray, that shocked me. It will not shock many of you, but she said Rice Krispies are almost $7. And
wow.
With inflation, I said, wow. And she goes, Crispy Rice is $4 less. And I said, you know what, Caitlin? Crispy Rice it is. Crispy Rice is our non-sponsor because the generic brand, which is exactly the same thing as Rice Krispies, let's be honest with you, is affordable. Which makes the play here, Ray. Grocery stores, this is your chance. Yeah. This is your opportunity to stick it to Kellogg's, Post, and General Mills, right? Whom we love because they.
Yeah, we've had them as non-sponsors before, but Kellogg's, you got to get your prices under control.
It's not their fault to a point that the inflation's there, but Crispy Rice is here to save the day. People, again, listening, I'm not kidding. It says Crispy Rice on the box. They use the font that I could get easily on Microsoft Word. It says toasted rice cereal. No artificial colors or flavors. And then it says, love it or it's on us. Ray, I'm opening the Crispy Rice.
Oh, moment of truth.
You can hear the sound effects at home. This is
the
ultimate geek thing. I'm going to taste them. Hold on.
And the verdict is?
I love it. Rice Krispies. I mean, Crispy Rice. Crispy Rice. With its light blue aqua colored box.
Yeah.
Not to be mistaken with Rice Krispies. Crispy Rice on the back, and this is great. A back has ingredients for confetti crispy rice treats.
Ooh.
Not Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah.
Crispy rice treats.
Confetti treats.
Yeah, and there's no snap, crackle, or pop. So I guess it's just going to be click, crumble, and
click,
bang.
Click, bang.
Crispy Rice. Today's non-sponsor.
That's what I want for my cereal. I want clang, clang.
I'll tell you what. $4 less Crispy Rice tastes a lot better than Rice Krispies right now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
That's true. That is true.
$7 for cereal. What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
You know, I used to use cereal as you can afford this. You can get a bunch of meals out of this. You know, like I remember when I was struggling after college, Ray, and I had no money. You'd go get the cereal because you could eat that 12 meals a day. All right. Not anymore. Now it's luxury. It's almost like the F1 Miami prices. You know, $250 for an appetizer. I'm not kidding, by the way, for the people that are listening.
You want some wings? $250.
No. The wings were more. The wings were a lot more. I'm going to bring, you know what, we're starting there, Ray. I'm taking over the episode real quick. I'm sorry you have a whole rundown here, but I forgot to put this on the rundown. I got to let everybody know this. F1 Miami. Ray, are you ready for these prices?
Sure.
Are you ready for these prices? They are brutal. Like it's a new level of gluttonous behavior. When you think about what's going on out there in the world with inflation and money, ready for this? Bites, chilled bites. Chilled prawn, which is shrimp for those of you not
shrimp,
from $290.
Yeah, it's
1 ounce of caviar. 1 ounce of caviar, $400.
Caviar is disgusting anyway.
Ray, I'm not even done. If you want a 16-ounce Miller Lite, 16 ounce. $55.
$55 for a beer.
Wine prices are in the thousands. I'm not going to, that is what it is. Are you ready, Ray? I mean, this is just ridiculous what they're doing here.
Yeah.
All right. $500 for gin. $12,000 if you want Azul Ultra tequila. 12 grand.
Yeah.
What the hell is this? F1 Miami. Not going to watch it. I'm going to sit here with my crispy rice and my Terramana tequila.
Yeah.
From the Final Boss.
Yeah.
And I'm going to enjoy that during F1.
Yeah, I don't support any of the racing because of stupid stuff like this. All F1 does is wherever it goes, it ruins the area, it ruined Vegas, it's ruining Miami. It's an absolute blight on the existence of the world. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. And then the other ridiculous thing, since we're starting with the racing, the Amish F1, or AKA the Kentucky Derby, was awesome.
I heard Amish F1.
I stole that from somebody on the internet. I saw that on the internet. And I couldn't stop laughing.
Ray, wait. Yeah. This just happened. What I'm about to tell you, I was just brought the phone by Caitlin, our producer.
Yes.
Just now, as we're recording this, Rice Krispies on sale from $6.50 down to $3.99. I swear to God.
How about
While we're on the air.
Unbelievable.
They're listening. I mean, the algorithm for Geeks Who Like Sports. That's insane.
Yeah.
$7 a pound. Caitlin has some more to report here. I'm talking live here so we can keep this going. It's a 9 ounce. It's a 9 ounce. Oh my God, dude. It's on sale, Ray. This is how they get you. They get you at $7. Now it's normal price again. 18 ounce, Ray, sale price. 18 ounce of Rice Krispies, which I believe is the family box.
Yeah, the family
$6 down from $7.50. I'm going to stick with the crispy rice, Ray.
Yeah, just stick with the crispy rice.
Crispy rice. All right, we've gone far too long.
And watch things that isn't Kentucky Derby or F1 or things that will make.
You know what's been crispy lately?
What?
The NHL playoffs.
That's right. That's right. We got a big show for everybody today. We got a big show for everybody today. We've got playoffs. We've got baseball. We've got a little bit of wrestling that I'm going to slide here. That'll also transition us a little bit more towards our geek section. Huge geek section. We got action figures. We got theme parks. We've got X-Men. I would say it's a pretty balanced show. Yeah. So no, this is gonna be a good episode for everybody. Also, want to just give a quick shout out to our friends over at the Geek Saga for this week. They were the ones who basically did all of the technical stuff over at Golden Apple Comics.
Thank you guys.
Our buddy Eugene, who recorded everything and then sent everything over to us. That special episode of Geeks Who Like Sports now, where, as Lee mentioned at the top of the show, I was at Golden Apple Comics, an LA icon, here for comic books, for Free Comic Book Day and Star Wars Day.
I might say you did an awesome job, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
You did a fantastic job.
Thank you. We had a really good crowd. People seemed to be really into it. And and also there were free comic books. We were right next to the Marvel free comic, which was great. Which obviously drew some folks over. We did giveaways that were not on air. We gave those away later. We gave away steel books for Obi-Wan, the complete series, and season 1 of Andor, and season 1 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and season 1 of Moon Knight. They keep listing all of season 1 as if they're going to do a second season, except for Obi-Wan. They said Obi-Wan's definitely done. That's complete.
There's nowhere to go.
Yeah, well, for Obi-Wan for sure, but like the other ones, I'm curious to see. They say no, these are just they're listed. They're labeled as just season 1, and I'm like, okay, we'll see. But
it's easy to keep it up and just see. No one cares if you don't do it.
Sure. No, exactly. So But no, yeah, again, thanks to Golden Apple Comics and for the giveaways and whatnot that we did, and then also for obviously hosting us, and then for the Geek Saga, the guys over there, specifically Eugene, who was working the board and keeping everything going for everybody.
I hope to be there next year, my friends. Thank you for hosting my friend Ray.
Yeah, so we really appreciate it. But moving on now to the first topic of the show, like Release said, it is crispy. The ice is fresh. I don't know.
I thought you were going to say frozen, but all
frozen.
right.
The ice is frozen, of course, but like
fresh ice.
Fresh frozen ice. There we go.
Hot ice.
Hot ice. That doesn't work. But yeah, no, it's been great. The hockey playoffs, the Rangers took game 1 of the second round of their series against Carolina. They held on for a 4-3 win. Little bit of a sloppy game for both teams. Both teams had a huge layoff, though, before their second round series. I'm really curious to see what happens game 2 tonight. I expect a much more defensive battle, a much more a tighter game tonight in game 2 that's going to happen literally within 2 hours. Puck drops in 2 hours from when we're recording right now. Boston, surprisingly, not that they beat Toronto. We all knew Boston was going to beat Toronto because Toronto's Toronto. But the Boston Bruins, I don't know if they're Lee. I want to get your thoughts on this. Just riding momentum or whatnot. But Boston just absolutely thumped Florida down in Sunrise, 5-1 in game 1. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm not surprised at all. Let's just hold. Let's just recap real quick. First round over as we're recording this.
The Stars won game 7 as
my
well.
My bracket, 100% right now. Predicted the first round winners perfectly. Of course, you always got to predict the games. I didn't do that perfectly, but the winners perfectly. Only one upset in the first round, and that was the Avalanche over the Jets, which I don't think anybody thinks is an upset.
Not really.
Even though the Jets had a great regular season. Yeah. The favorites won in every series but that one. Boston Bruins. I did not pick them to get to the final. I picked your New York Rangers, and the first round shows why. They have some real gaps in their game that can be undone. Mm-hmm. The Toronto Maple Leafs, a team that was limping without their best goal scorer, could not keep their goaltenders healthy, somehow got that team to 7 games.
Yeah.
The reason why Florida will most likely not win this series is because of what happened last year. Boston's not running on the Toronto series. They're looking at Florida going, hey, remember when these guys ruined our perfect season? Right. That's going to take them a lot further, I think, than anything else. Now, Florida should battle back. I don't think this is going to be a sweep, but Boston's pissed off at Florida. All right. And they don't want to be embarrassed again. And they almost just got embarrassed in the first round. If that doesn't motivate you as a hockey player, I don't know what you're doing here.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
the Florida Panthers, I've said it again, solid team. But I don't see the it factor there. It's not Kachuk.
Right.
It's not Bobrovsky to me. He's great players.
Yeah.
But the it factor in that series is Boston does not want to get embarrassed again by that team. And they are angry. So if they do not come out of that series, which is what I predicted, I'll be shocked. Same thing over in New York. The New York Rangers are a team on a mission.
Yes.
They look cup ready. They did not overlook the Capitals once, literally, and they did not overlook the Carolina Hurricanes. They look sharp. They look ready. I know that game was a little closer than it needed to be.
Yeah.
But this Rangers team takes every bit of adversity and turns it into an asset. The only way the Rangers lose anything in this playoffs is if they just hit a rut and they just stop playing the way they're playing.
Yeah.
All right, it has happened before. I don't see it happening with this team. They are the cup-ready team. I'm riding them all the way to the final.
Yeah. No, I agree. I really think this is the Rangers' year. And I really think that, again, like you said, as long as they keep playing their game, I don't know who can stop them right now.
I think Boston would get their asses kicked by them. Like people think I'm crazy when I say that. Like, oh, no, your President's Trophy. Are you not seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
There's no gaps in that team.
Yeah.
There's no gaps. Your arguably worst player is a 6'7" monster that's killing people.
Yeah.
I mean, what is people? Are you
and scoring goals? He had more goals than Ovechkin.
He had more goals than Ovechkin. That's the worst player on the team. is a monster. I mean, are you kidding me right now with that team? Again, I've seen teams run out of gas before. I don't see that happening with this team. I think if Boston wins and the Rangers win and go to the conference final, I honestly don't think it's going to be a long series, right?
Yeah. I
could see the Rangers winning that in 5. I really mean that.
Yeah.
And I'm okay putting it out there. That's the most complete hockey team I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
When we get to the West, I have another team coming up that I didn't feel was strong, but they're starting to surprise me now.
Yeah. Well, one of the other series getting underway tonight is Dallas and Colorado. Dallas came back; they were down 2-0. They lost the first 2 games at home to Vegas, and then came storming back, won 2-1 against Vegas in Game 7. Speaking of bad players, not a bad player, but a fourth liner. Fox coming back was hurt, and he scored what ended up being the game-winning goal against Vegas. Sorry, my phone's blowing up for some reason. I don't know why. And I'm like,
it's Kellogg's calling, Ray. They're pissed off about the crispy rice.
Yeah, maybe.
I just like saying crispy rice.
Yeah, it's just very funny. But yeah, no, and Dallas won. Dallas came back. They were the better team. They were the better team on paper.
The only series that I predicted the games correctly, which is funny. Look, Vegas. Look, this is simple math. Vegas was heavily injured.
Yes.
They're coming off a very long season, obviously, the year before.
Yeah.
Dallas is the best team in the Western Conference. I mean, this isn't tough. Even Mark Stone said after the game, like, it's really tough when you come in as an 8 seed because you got to play all the better teams. He said, we played well, but we're injured. Guys are on 100%. Nothing wrong with Vegas making the playoffs the way they made the playoffs. But again, Dallas should have won that series. They did.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. And I think, and credit where it's due. Vegas had their opportunities in that game, right? They hit a couple of posts. They come a little bit of puck luck for Dallas.
That's how it goes, though. I mean, this is when you break it down over 7 games. Sometimes the calculus works.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the fact, again, look, Vegas let them back into that series. Vegas had a chance. Again, they were up 2-0, and Dallas was like, "We're not going out like this."
Nope, not going to happen.
And came storming back. They won 3 in a row. Then Vegas forced Game 7. And that was it. But Dallas.
I'm going to say it again that Dallas Avalanche is going to be a great series. I'm really looking forward to that. In fact, both Western Conference series are going to be great. I think the Dallas Avalanche series is going to be closer though than Vancouver and Edmonton, because I've been watching Edmonton, Ray, and I'll tell you what, they are looking pretty damn good. And there was something that was said that really piqued my interest, which was from McDavid, which was that, they were basically out of the playoffs. They were not good at the start. We joked about
a very slow start. Yeah.
Yeah. We knew that they had plenty of time with that roster. I think we said that, they'll probably get back in. But what he said was nobody understands the adversity we had to face at the start of this year. Yeah. He's saying it in a way that he looks angry.
Yeah.
And that makes them very, very dangerous to me. If that top line can go uncontested, which is unlikely, but if they can do that and the Vancouver D cannot stop McDavid, it can be very dangerous. Now, the problem with McDavid and that team is that it's like the Phillies last year. The home run stop, the team can't do anything. Right. So the Oilers don't scare me as much as Dallas or the Avalanche.
Sure.
But Vancouver better watch out. I mean, they look ready to kill.
Well, and that's the thing. I agree. Whoever wins Dallas and Colorado, to me, wins the West.
Yeah.
But
I would agree with that too.
I think Edmonton can knock off Vancouver. I mean, to be fair, I thought Nashville had a legit chance against Vancouver, and it was just really a talent. If the talent was even, Nashville would have won.
Well, yeah. Here's the other thing too: the Canucks Oilers series is 1-2, right? Yeah. So like they absolutely could beat them, and then the Dallas Avalanche is like 1-3. All right, but that's just because they beat the Jets. So these are great series. All 4 of the series right now are great, right? I'm not saying again that I'm not confident in my picks, but they should be great hockey, right? Yes. So we will see what happens here. It's going to be really interesting, but I think the right teams have made it to the second round in the NHL playoffs.
Yeah.
They're the teams I want to see. I'm looking at the 8 teams that are here, and I think about potential cup finals. Outside, this is me being personal here. Outside the Bruins, I'm kind of okay with anybody making it.
Yeah.
No desire to see Boston make the final again. No offense. This is mostly based off the fan base. But I'm looking forward to this round and then the conference final. But NHL, always easily the greatest postseason in all of sports.
Yes.
I don't think anybody debates that anymore. Viewership, I think, at an all-time high, by the way.
Yeah.
Or very high. So the NHL doing a great job.
Yeah. To me, there's only one acceptable result, and that is the Rangers. But yeah. So, but yeah.
I don't understand why.
We move on now to basketball. Basketball second round also getting underway recently. And it's again, we talked about this last week. The Knicks knocked off the Sixers. The Pacers pulled off a little bit of an upset against the Bucks, but the Bucks were very, very banged up. The Knicks take game 1 against the Pacers, 121-117. Controversial. Now, to be fair, this was the officiating crew of game 3 between Sixers and Knicks. And they let a lot of stuff slide in that game. And then here's the thing. It's inconsistency. They let a lot of stuff slide in this game until the very, very end.
Yeah, it's not good. Not a good look.
Not at all. And now, to be fair, by the letter of the rule, technically the call was correct. But they let that go the whole game.
And there was some acting on that.
Absolutely.
I when a guy reacts after the hit, it always bugs me.
Now, I mean,
that's gamesmanship, though. But
sure, absolutely. And look, and there's no guarantee, of course, that the Pacers would have made that bucket. There's no guarantee. Like, you don't know what would have happened, but it is, again, and the refs have done this a lot this playoffs in the NBA. The refs taking the ball out of the hands of the players and center. And we're going to get into some bad officiating in baseball shortly, but the NBA they have an officiating problem. They really do, because we're going to get into the Nuggets and Timberwolves in a second, too, because it's just as bad over there.
Yeah. I don't want to be talking about the officials after the game.
Yeah.
Even Scott Van Pelt on ESPN last night. Why are we talking about the officials again? You had this in the women's NCAA final, even though that call was correct.
Yeah.
Right? You're having it now. Like why are the officials in baseball and basketball becoming the story?
Because they're bad.
It's a problem. It's becoming a problem. And again, I sometimes I wonder, are we pouring gasoline on a fire? Or is it really this bad? It's probably a little bit of both. But
especially now, though,
it's not fun to watch.
Now that we have replay of everything, so many angles, but then certain things you can call, some things you can't, some things you can challenge, some things you can't. Just expand the challenges. Expand what you can and can't challenge, because at this point,
the hand, they said it kicked it. It was off the guy's hand.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why that's not challengeable. I don't know why there's not a call down from New York saying, "Hey, look, that's the wrong call." In a game like this, like, look, as a coach, I always say it doesn't come down to one play.
Sure.
But you don't. It doesn't need to be unfair. Right.
That's the thing, right? Look, there's a lot that could happen. Look, Halliburton was held to 6 points. The Knicks defense played great. DiVincenzo, of course, made that clutch 3, right?
Not negating anything the Knicks did.
Yeah. Brunson dropped 43 again. He's the first person.
It looks like it's something's been done behind the scenes. And I'm not saying that.
Sure. No, I get it. Like, it sure does look like somebody, especially again with the NBA having a history of this, somebody's cooking the books a little.
Yeah.
Like, look, I'm happy because it favored the Knicks. The Knicks now up 1-0.
No, I think you're handling this correctly. I mean, you're freely saying it. You know what? They probably should have had a chance.
And that's the thing. Again, you don't know if he would have made the bucket, but
he should have had the chance.
He should have had the chance.
Yeah.
So
because that kicked ball that was not kicked at all ended up in a Knicks 3, and essentially, knowing now what we know, it ended the game.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just tough. It's just tough, and it's like, in games like this, especially in the playoffs, everybody says, "Well, officiating is more under the microscope in the playoffs." It is, but the games are closer. The games are tighter because the better teams playing each other.
Right.
So they need to be better too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that kills me. And again, look, I'm obviously a hockey guy, but this is where like the NFL and the NHL really do a good job.
Yeah, they look at the officiating over the course of the year, and they're like, only the best refs are going to be in the biggest game.
But also, as much as it annoys us, they don't let goals or touchdowns or plays go in big moments and big games without like triple checking it. They want it to be right.
Yeah.
And again, like the Super Bowl, I mean, to annoyance, they do this, right? In hockey, like it's got to be 100% to be in the net, right? They're offsides. I mean, you can look at these rules. They don't mess up like this. Yeah. Like baseball and basketball mess up. And again, to the purists that say it's part of the game,
no,
it was before we had the technology to make it part of the game.
Right, exactly. Now that we have all this tech, now we have all this tech, there's no excuse for this to still be a part of the game. Right. Like you have to evolve. If everything around you is evolving and you're not, you're the problem.
I'll say this kind of as an athlete now, right? Before, when I knew they couldn't do replay, you live with it. That's how you've got to give everything, because you might get a call that goes against you.
Right.
But that's not the way it is anymore, right? It's like you expect the calls to be correct.
Yeah.
Right. And, the fact that they have to put in video games like a variance for this.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing. Like one of the nice parts about video games is the call's always right.
Well, that's what I get frustrated with MLB The Show, where like I wish they would expand replay in MLB The Show because boy, oh boy, it sure doesn't look like you said, MLB The Show's like, well, we got to put mistakes in the game because there's tons of mistakes made all the time in baseball. And it's like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. That's not fun.
I'm playing the game to not deal with that.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's not fun.
Oh, gosh. Other series, Celtics, Cavs. I said the Cavs were going to win in 7. They did. I think the Celtics, even without Porzingis, should handle Cleveland pretty easily, but I think it'll be a fun series. But I think Boston, maybe even 5. Like honestly, Boston,
top heavy league, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thunder Mavericks, I think will be good. That one I got wrong. I thought the Clippers were going to beat the Mavericks, but the Mavericks, when it was 2-2, the Mavericks won the next 2 when it won 5 and 6. And now they're playing the Thunder. That's going to be an interesting one because, again, that's a young Thunder team, but obviously the Mavs got some veterans there who have experience, like Kyrie. Like, what Kyrie is going to show up? Is it crazy Kyrie or is it playoff Kyrie? Like, no. Like, so that, honestly, even though it's a 1-5, I could almost flip a coin on that one.
Yeah, and that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
And then the big one, this is the big shock, and I know you talked about Boston being angry before. The Minnesota Timberwolves are playing angry because Denver knocked them out last year. This is a young team, and they are on a team in a mission. Now, to be fair, and they had calls go against them in Game 1, including the softest technical I've ever seen. Ever seen, where the dude just stared the other dude down. Like, for the stuff that the folks in the NBA have done over the years, that's what you tee a guy up for? Because he stared at the other player? He didn't say anything. He didn't touch him. He just looked at him angry. Lee, I'm looking at you real mad right now. I got teed up. That's it. What's happening? What are you talking about?
Technical.
Professor X Xavier just sent me a technical. What are you doing? Come on.
Yeah, it's
But the Wolves still won though. They won Game 1 and then they stomped them in Game 2.
I don't know what to say about this. I don't want to be talking about refs or officials after a game.
Yep.
I don't want to talk about them in any sport.
Yep. But Lee, I know the Nuggets are the defending champs. I don't know. Like, I know we just had it in hockey where the Stars were down 2-0 and, of course, came storming back. But I don't know if Denver, with this series now going to Minnesota, I don't know if Denver can come back from this 0-2 hole.
Well, look, if there's anything I've learned in professional sports, Ray, is that when you're the champion, you're not out until you're out.
That's true.
And so, it's a very easy for them to sit down and draw upon this and just say, we won this last year. We can win this again.
Yeah.
All right. And again, they're down 2-0, but you never count out a champion ever.
I know you lose Game 1. It was a close one. You get blown out in Game 2.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I was gonna ask, is it better that you got blown out in Game 2 than you instead of losing another close one?
It is a lot easier to wake up after a blowout than it is in 2 close games, right? When you get blown out in a Game 2, because remember, again, it's like the points don't matter, the scores don't matter. It's just a loss.
Right. It's just one game, yeah.
Right. So when you get blown out, it's like, okay, we got to change something now, right? Something's not working. Now you lose Game 3, you're done. But if it's 2 close losses, it's like, man, we did everything we couldn't win. You get blown out, it's like we didn't play tonight.
Right.
And we know what we're capable of, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes those can be wake-up calls. And again, I don't care how bad a loss is. If it's 4 touchdowns to none or 9 goals to 2, a loss is a loss.
Right.
Right. So and that's how it's got to be.
Yeah. All right. So that should be interesting. We'll see what happens there with Game 3 in a couple of days. We move now on to from the basketball. So, I'm very excited for my Knicks. I do believe the Knicks, by the way, should beat the Pacers. We don't need the refs' help, but I think it'll be a long series. I think it'll be a good series, and we'll see what happens in Game 2.
The Knicks look pretty amped up to be playing basketball. Although the way that game ended, the Pacers are going to be pissed.
Absolutely.
So we'll see. This next game
Knicks got to weather the storm.
The next game is the Rocky music turns on, and you're in the battle with Ivan Drago. So. Yeah. It is funny seeing Reggie Miller back at the Garden with Spike Lee just looking at him is like, for those of you who are younger, Reggie Miller, bane of the Knicks' existence, the
Yes.
bane of their existence back in
Yes.
the 90s. So,
yes. Yeah. So, moving on now to, by the way, I think I mentioned it earlier. Jalen Brunson, first guy since Michael Jordan to score 40 points in 4 straight.
He might catch up to the 6, which I think was Jerry West for the LA Lakers.
Yeah, we will. That is going to be interesting. It was actually funny in the post-game press conference because like they're interviewing a lot of the players together now, and I think it was Josh Hart who was like, "Man, the first time since Jordan." And Brunson's like, "Stop. I don't want to talk about he's very focused."
Oh, he's a New Yorker, man. Just blue collar, let's work. I'm not a star, and like most New Yorkers,
that's why we gravitate to him. That's why we gravitate.
Yeah. Until you don't.
I think he doesn't do something. Brunson would.
He's a bum. You're a bum.
Brunson would really have to fall from grace, I think, for New York.
I don't think he's going to. I think you got a star in the making there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Made there.
Yeah, I mean he's got the billboard now on 34th, so he's the guy. All right, now we are moving on now to baseball. We're already starting to see the cream of the crop rise to the top. And Lee, your Phillies
red hot.
Are red hot. I think they just swept the Giants in a 4-game series. They are now 25-11. They are the first team to win 25 games. They're the first team to win. Oh yeah, they're the first team to win 25. The Dodgers just won their 24th.
They are the best team in the MLB right now.
Yes, they are near the top, and you're already starting to see.
No, not near the top.
They are the top.
They are on top. I need to say it while I can, Ray.
It's true.
Red hot.
Yes, but it's interesting. You're already really starting to see some of the teams that are pulling away. Yeah. First off, the Nationals. Good on the Nationals, who traded everybody in a fire sale only a couple of years after their World Series win. Got a lot of young talent, and now all that young talent, very similar to what the Baltimore Orioles did a few years ago. And now the young talent's starting to develop, and the Nationals are 500. Yep. The Nationals are 17-17. They're in third place. Good on them.
Ahead of the Mets. I said ahead of the Mets.
Ahead of the Mets, as no shock there. I will say it is shocking how bad the Marlins are after just making the playoffs last year. They completely fell apart. And they've already started their fire sale, just trading Luis Ariz, last year's batting champion, to the Padres for 4 prospects. So... but you're starting to see the cream of the crop rise to the top. The Phillies, the Braves, the Brewers, the Cubs, who we knew were going to be good again this year. The Dodgers obviously have woke up after a bit of a slow start. They're 24-13 and handily in first place. The only real race is going to be, and again, I know it's May, folks. It's super, super early. A lot can happen. We have seen so many teams get off to a terrible start the first 2 months. The Nationals, just a few years ago, we were seeing the Nationals and come storming back. But we're just saying these are the teams that have not dug themselves an early season hole. And then you have the Nationals and Padres at 500 fighting for that last spot in the National League. So it's interesting to see. Lee, what do your Phillies have to do to keep this going? Are there any holes in the team? Are you looking for anybody at the trade deadline in a couple of months? Like, what's your weakness if you have one?
Well, I mean, it's relief pitching. It always has been. That's what it comes down to. Or the bat's getting cold. I mean, you could say that about every team. The difference between the Phillies this year and last year is we're not relying only on home runs to win. Yeah. Last year, it was like every night you turn on, it was dinger, 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 some dramatic dingers, right? Yeah. But now you're seeing them. They're really getting on base. They're really going through the rotation, and they're really hitting when they have to. It is very early. But with that said, like most Philadelphia people are, that's really early. It's too. No, I'm going to live in this one. I'm going to revel in it. I haven't had too many seasons where the Phillies were this good this point of the season. This feels great. It feels awesome. I'm fine knowing they have to go through a massive losing streak to fall out of this position. Yeah. They look pretty strong and consistent to me. They look like a team that's determined. The middle of our lineup is doing well. So, Ray, if there is a weakness, and it hasn't really shown itself yet, it's just relief pitching. And I'll be honest with you, you and I've been watching baseball for 40 years. That's always the weakness of most teams. Or let me say this right. When you say that's your weakness, that's a good place to be.
Yes.
So knowing that team, they will probably be looking for some middle relievers because our aces are doing great. Our starting pitching has done phenomenal. And our bats are wild. They may cool off, but right now for me, it's about consistency and getting to that postseason so we can remove the Dodgers from the equation, thus getting the thanks of the entire MLB fan base for proving once again that the evil empire in Los Angeles will not win.
Yes. we look forward to the Dodgers' eventual first-round elimination, as usual. In the American League, speaking of pitching, honestly, the Yankees are very similar to the Phillies. We could use more relievers. Our starters, even with Garrett Cole, last year's Cy Young winner, not coming. Doesn't look like he'll make his first start till June 1st. But the Yankees have been treading water, and they're suddenly 10 games above 500, 23-13. Although in second place in the division, because Baltimore is just it's going to be a slugfest. I mean, it is clear the Red Sox, although competitive and good on them, being 19-16, I don't think they're going to be able to hang around the whole year. I think Tampa Bay is exactly what we thought they were. They're going to be a 500 team. They're 18-18. The Yankees and Orioles are going to be, as long as the Yankees can keep getting decent pitching, the Yankees, fun fact, 4th in Major League Baseball with runners in scoring position. It's just a matter of getting those runners into scoring position. But Stanton, Verdugo, Volpe, and Oswaldo Cabrera, who I'm so happy they're finally giving this kid a chance. I've been saying for years, just let him play. And because of all the injuries, he's gotten a chance. And he's hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position. He's hitting almost 260. He's showing some good pop. And by the way, he can play every position on the field.
How about that?
Yeah, so he's doing great. And then, of course, led by Juan Soto, who's hitting a ridiculous 440 with runners in scoring position.
That is nuts.
Like, I mean, it's not short porch cheapies either. Like, when he's getting like frozen rope doubles, he's getting big base hits. He's getting big walks when he needs to. So, I mean, he's going to break the bank in the offseason. The Yankees have to, like, it's going to be at least a $500 million contract, at least, to keep him around. But yeah, interesting. Cleveland doing it with pitching. Cleveland's in first. The American League Central, who we ragged on all of last year, has 4 teams above 500 right now.
Yeah, well, who are they playing, though?
Not very many good teams.
Yeah, that's the key to this thing right here. You know, like, who are they playing?
They're also getting very fat in the White Sox. The White Sox and the Rockies are, again, the 2 worst teams in baseball.
White Sox are brutal. They have 8 wins right now?
Yes, they set a record for the most times being shut out in the first 20 games
That's
ever.
Not good for anybody.
Yeah, no, the White Sox, the Southsiders there in Chicago. The Cubs, very good. Everybody in Chicago going to go watch the Cubs because the White Sox are almost unwatchable. But Detroit is playing great, although they've lost 4 in a row. Kansas City, again, a team that kind of blew itself up after a World Series win in 2015. And now suddenly all these youngsters, kind of led by MJ Melendez and some veteran pitchers that they signed in the offseason to short-term contracts. The Kansas City Royals are 21-15 and would have a wild card spot right now. And Minnesota, who after getting off to a terrible start, they have been one of the hottest teams in baseball. They've won 9 of their last 10. Not as hot as your Phillies, but still very, very hot. Yep. And they've gotten back over 500. And surprisingly, the West is not doing as well as I thought. The defending champion Texas Rangers are only 2016, but that is good enough for first place right now as the Houston Trastros are tied for last with the Angels, 10 games under 500 as they start a 3-game series with my New York Yankees tonight. Justin Verlander on the bump for Houston as he tries to continue his dominance of the Yankees. But yeah, and so that's baseball. Oh yeah, and the umpires still suck in baseball.
Horrible, just brutal. I mean, I'm watching the game the other night, and I'm watching this guy call strikes. It's clearly out of the strike zone, low balls, right? To be fair, tough to call. And people are like, well, at least he's consistent. At least he's consistently calling them strikes. And I'm like, I'm trying to think like of metaphors here. Like, well, crispy rice is pretty consistent with the flavor. But it's just not. I don't want consistent bad calls.
Yeah,
I want the right call.
Yeah,
right, because it's consistent till it's not, right. And then I would hate having to be a major league ball player thinking this is every time the guy throws it an inch or 2 below the strike zone, I have to swing.
Yeah,
well, that's just the game. That's stupid.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Yeah.
Umpires, go
It's so
away.
stupid that Aaron Judge got ejected for the first time in his career the other night because this is all Judge said because John Boy did his lip reading, and it's one of the shortest ones he's ever had to do because all Judge said was that's BS. Yeah. Even BS all day. And the umpire immediately was like, "You're gone."
Stupid. stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
it's ridiculous.
I've had enough of this, Aaron Judge. You just model human being and great human being for the
I know.
game. You're out of here.
You're the nicest person ever, Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
Go take a break. I'm going to give you the last 3 innings off. Get out of here.
I don't even listen to a 6'7" Darth Vader looking guy. You evil empire. You're out of here. Stupid.
I'm sorry. I get that the union protects the umpires, but this is ridiculous. It's the CB Buckners, the Hunter Wendelstatts, the Angel Hernandezes. I'm sorry, but you're done. You need to leave.
Angel's amazing. Like the consistently bad. And they keep him around, and nobody knows why.
Yeah. You know,
it's because of the union. You said it.
It's because of the union. It's because of the unions. I don't understand. This country, I'm pro-union, except for if it's like the baseball unions. But you know who else got asked to leave recently, Lee?
Well, there's a lot of answers here. Are we transitioning?
We're going to transition into a little wrestling.
Should be good. A lot of people were at it. A little wrestling. Huh?
Little wrestling.
Oh my God! Who got asked?
Ric Flair, all over the news this week, folks, for a lot of reasons. First off, he revealed, this is very sad, actually. He's like, yeah, I found out that I actually had a heart attack in the middle of my last match. My doctor told me when they did a scan of my heart. They're like, yeah, part of your heart's dead. That means you had a heart attack.
Part of your heart is dead.
And he's like, so he's like, yeah, so I guess when I thought I passed out from dehydration, but no, I guess I was dead in the middle of the match.
Jesus Christ.
Woo! Woo! I don't think there's no amount of woo energy that's going to bring you back once you're dead, Rick. You got to be careful, man. But part of the reason why he's also in such, we'll say, below average health, I mean, mind you, he is in his late 70s and, of course, wrestled during the craziest time in wrestling history, is that Rick likes to have a drink or two.
Yeah. Like the video you're about to talk about was sent to me today. Yeah. And none of it shocked me. Not one bit. People like, none of this was surprising. No. That is pretty much him. There's just a lot more video cameras out there now.
That's it. That's all it is. This is what Rick. It's exactly. Zavi put up the perfect title. If you're watching on video, it's Ric Flair being Ric Flair. Supposedly, he got into a blind grandmother's face and wooed her like woo, and like she had no idea what was going on. And obviously, Rick had a few too many drinks. The manager asked Rick to leave. And then Rick kept challenging him to a fight in the parking lot. Yeah. And it was just an ugly, sad situation. And please, Rick, please take care of yourself. I know you're over at AEW now, which basically means you think you can do whatever the hell you want again because Tony Khan's a piece of garbage clown. But, oh, by the way, AEW might be signing Jerry Lawler because WWE terminated his contract, got let go. So we might get Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler.
We could talk about that, but yeah, like Lawler, I mean, McAfee has replaced him perfectly.
Well, that's the thing is the WWE doesn't need it. Like as much as we all love Jerry the King Lawler, he's him too. He's in his late 70s. He had a heart attack literally on air 10 years ago.
Right, we just don't need him anymore.
And it's they were like, and they didn't terminate his contract. Like, your contract's up. We're just not going to renew.
Yeah,
and like. Honestly, Jerry, it's okay if you retire. It's okay.
No, maybe not, but he's gone.
Not, but we'll see what happens.
I'm saying that because he's the type of guy that if he retires, he's probably not around that much longer. But there's alternatives.
Yeah. Well, and he might go to AEW now and rejoin Jim Ross or something. And as great as that would be to see.
Well, that's what they want, right? That's AEW's all shtick.
Right. Is to bring back what was old and try to make what was old new again.
Right.
Even though it kind of doesn't work.
Yeah, in front of a capacity crowd.
Yes. Oh, goodness. But yeah, so a lot of folks now we are transitioning fully into the geek section because we talked about folks who are leaving. Lots of folks leaving, lots of folks getting tossed around, and oh boy, X-Men 97.
If you don't like it, I got 2 words for you. X-Men.
Yes. To me, my X-Men. Tolerance is Extinction Part 1. Part 2 is dropping in about 10 hours from now. I cannot wait. Gosh, there's so much in this episode to go over. First off, they tweak Bastion's origin to make more sense and make it easier to consume for a television audience. But it's basically Bastion is a human Sentinel hybrid. He's making more human Sentinels because he wants to usher in a golden age. And it's kind of heartbreaking, but like Cable basically says, like, Cyclops basically says, we're fighting to prevent the terrible future. And he's like, but that's just it. Bastion does.
Right.
He makes a utopia where basically mutants are, if they're not dead, they're basically slave labor.
Right.
But everything else about society is wonderful. So it's literally the X-Men are again fighting for their very existence to not be eradicated. And it's because that's the thing, right? Is like that. Yes, Bastion builds his utopia, but at what cost?
Mm-hmm.
It's really at the cost of humanity as well.
You can also research Germany 1936, 1945.
Yeah, it's very got a couple of those vibes to it.
It's got a little historical accuracy to it.
It's kind of why they specifically show the Magneto's number tattoo on his inside of his left arm.
Which is consistent across universes, by the way.
It is. That is canonical across many universes. Obviously, that Magneto was part of the concentration camps and that he survives. Now, there's questions about whether his mutant powers manifest inside the camp, and that's how he survives. But it's not good. And then we have Val Cooper, who has several changes of heart over the course of the series. She's first an ally, then she joins with Bastion, but then she's like, and she gives a very powerful line. She's like, I finally realized Magneto is right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah! It was awesome.
I mean, they said that is the fulcrum of this new part of the series. Magneto was right the whole time. Now, where do we go from here? Again, I mean, there's a lot of predictability in it, but amazing. Like, I'm starting to wonder now, like, are they going to bring Gambit back? I thought for sure with Cable trying to go back, they were going to do that, but I'm not so sure anymore, right?
If they do, I think it's going to be Apocalypse that brings him back.
Right. It's not going to be because they change the time stream.
It's not going to be timeline changing. No, it's going to be it's going to be somebody else that's going to bring him back if they do.
Yeah, and again, this episode ends epically. I mean, let's just go over the big moments of this episode. One is obviously Nightcrawler and Wolverine going berserk.
Oh, that fight sequence was phenomenal.
It was awesome. We got some anime vibes when Wolverine joins Nightcrawler in one of his teleportations.
That's first-person view of the teleportation, yes.
Yeah, that was brilliantly executed. And then just Wolverine flying through the sky, shredding up Sentinels is always a fun moment. You predicted correctly that Jubilee would be getting a new attire.
Yeah,
which was about time. So, I mean, it's basically the jacket with a black outfit, which is fine with me, and she's going to continue to wear that. The end of the episode.
Before we get to the end.
Before we get to the end of the episode, Ray will
there were a couple other cameos.
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
That Dr. Doom and Baron Zemo were helping Bastion, and then once they realized the extent of Bastion's plan, even Dr. Doom is like, Dr. Doom does not condone war crimes.
Right.
Like, that says a lot, right? When Dr. Doom is like, okay, this is a little bit much for me over here. Like, but it's a big deal that you have these classic villains in the Marvel universe, not necessarily X-Men villains, although they have crossed paths, teaming up with Bastion, and now even they're kind of like backing off a little bit.
Well, they just want to show you how bad Bastion is. Like, he's very, very evil.
Yes.
And then the other cameos happened at the end. That's what I was going to go into.
I wanted to get to the mid-cameo episode cameos before we get to the end cameo episode.
Right. So at the end of this episode, brilliant. Obviously, Magneto is let go, and then he goes to the poles and pretty much sends a Earth-wide EMP to shut down everything and put the Earth into darkness. Yep. And in this scene, which is an Avengers Endgame level type deal from a comic book or TV show standpoint, get Spider-Man, you get Silver Samurai. I mean, the list kind of goes on here.
They show Omega Red waking up.
Yeah, which is, for those who don't know, Omega Red, Soviet, evil, awesome.
Yeah, he's got tentacles that can like sap your strength and classic Wolverine villain. Like, he was in several episodes of the original series. He's one of the big bads. That's a big deal that he got unleashed.
Yeah,
so
there's a few more in there too. But the Spider-Man, like, that's our Spider-Man from our childhood. Now there's a lot of calls for Spider-Man 98 to come out. But I'm really hoping Spider-Man shows up and they get the voice actor for Spider-Man, and no one would say no to that show coming back.
Yeah.
Especially if it's going to be combined with an X-Men. There were other cameos in the scene, Ray, but just the idea of that this spanned the globe and that Magneto has that power and just said that's enough. Shows you how powerful, why he is an Omega level threat when the Sentinels are around. And then obviously at the very end of the episode, Professor X crashes and teases that, okay, Magneto, Professor X, the X-Men, and Storm, who's still out there.
Yes.
And Rogue needs to wake up too. She hasn't quite woken up yet.
Yeah, well, she's been she was knocked into a coma by the explosion by the Trask Bulb or Trask Prime Sentinel. So.
Right. So something's going to happen. Obviously, they're going to combine forces, and then we'll see what happens. I wonder if
and then they'll probably split at the end, where again it's Xavier is like, I still have to believe in my dream, and I'm curious to see if some of the X-Men don't stick around after this, because I think Beast is having a crisis of conscience. I think a couple of others, like you mentioned, Rogue. When she wakes up, it'll be curious to see how she does. I think Cyclops, his faith is wavering. But it's a big deal when Professor Xavier touches them all telepathically, and he's like, "To me, my X-Men."
Yeah.
And then the music hits, and then the credits roll, and we can't wait for tonight.
Yeah, tonight's going to be good. I'm expecting other changes to happen. I'm expecting some fun stuff. If Jubilee changed her costume, makes me think other characters may start changing their costume.
We've seen Storm has her new costume. Jubilee
has
her new costume.
2 people now. So I'm wondering if you're going to start to see some other costume changes within this show. But also, who else is out there? They're introducing so many expanded universe characters now. It's like, where are we going with this? And look, this is the second to last episode, so it's going to end on a massive cliffhanger.
Yes.
And then we'll see where it goes. But it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's been tremendous. They've done such a great job. They said they want to do again, the third season's already been greenlit. The second season's already basically in the can. And they said that they're going to probably do a 4th season too.
Good.
So, and the hint is that basically that even though season 1 will have its own kind of conclusion, that it will directly, again, much like this one picked up or right where it left off, will directly lead into season 2. So,
look, hopefully they don't make the mistake of expanding too fast. What they should do, in my opinion, is everybody's like, well, I want Spider-Man 98 or all these shit. I don't need 15 different shows.
Yeah.
You could put them all in this universe, and that would be fine. Like, you don't have to remake Spider-Man. There's really nowhere for him to go, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Unless he joins up with the X-Men or the Avengers. So there's a lot of different things they could do here in that universe to make it fun. And then will it connect to the larger MCU? I mean, I'm interested to see that.
Well, and
I do think, Ray, just side point here, that if and I don't want them to screw this up, but WB should be looking at bringing back Batman, the animated series, at this point. I mean, this is kind of proof. The only problem,
they've been working on a Batman animated thing for forever, and it's still just kind of kicking around somewhere.
Well, the big issue is going to be, can you do it without Kevin Conroy, right? And I do not have the answer for that, right? No. If you cannot match that excellence, you should not do it. But Warner Brothers has proven they have no idea what they're doing, so I expect them to do it.
They'll screw it up, yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting to see, and because Disney also announced today they're gonna start pumping the brakes a little bit on the MCU. They're going to do one. Yeah. They're going to cut back to 1 to 2 movies a year and 2 to 3 TV shows a year. They're going to cut back on all of that. So,
well, I'm going to say this again, Ray. That her name is escaping me right now, but Miss Marvel said it right perfectly. You have to make people care about these characters.
Yeah,
and they're not doing enough to make you care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, not Brie Larson.
I'm on.
Thank you. Yeah. You're not doing enough to make. The reason why we loved those characters in the first 3 phases was you cared about them. Right? You literally released the movie and left a gigantic god at the top of the planet, and no one's thinking about it. Right? And that's not the only movie where like you forget about the characters. Like Werewolf by Night. What was the point of that?
It was great. It was fun. It was great. It was really great. Yeah.
But no one cares now. People forget it existed.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot of problems here with the MCU in terms of just they expanded too fast. They got really greedy. Yeah. All right, but I also think they can bring it back because here's the truth. Here's the truth, everybody. This is God honest truth. If Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Evans shows up, you're in.
We're back.
You're in. All right, and make no mistake, they will do that in some form.
Yeah.
All right, and if Chris Hemsworth can do a better version of Thor the next time around, I think he's fine too. In fact, he just came out recently, Ray, and said that. He made a mockery of his own. He acted the mockery of himself in that film, the last Thor, Love and Thunder. Yeah. And I said, you know what? It's a really good description. Because if you watch Ragnarok, it's very well acted. It's funny, but he's also serious at times, and he's still Thor. Right. And in Love and Thunder, he's just a joke the whole time.
Yeah. He
There's no serious. Yeah, he completely lost focus on the character, and I don't think Love and Thunder was a horrendous film, but it was crispy rice. It was the crispy rice.
Yeah, it could have been better. Yeah, even Taika Waititi, I think, kind of they all lost their focus.
They completely did. They just made a lot of money. But anyway, good on the MCU for admitting mistakes and making changes and not tripling down on a stupidly bad franchise that's not working just because it's making money.
Yep, absolutely.
Put your shoes on and do it the right way. That's a little teaser for later in the episode.
Yeah, no, how about people who are changing it up and trying to do new things and trying to stay relevant in a bit of ways is Airbnb. I don't know if you heard about this. Airbnb is doing something that's really, really interesting because obviously there's been a lot of changes and a lot of restrictions they've had to put in place now as different laws and whatnot about who can rent out as an Airbnb, who can be an Airbnb, what the amenities have to have. So things have changed, and also people are kind of traveling less because we're all poor. But
we can't afford Rice Krispies. Of course, we're poor.
Well, exactly. So, but I'll say this: if I was on the East Coast, I would be spending the $100 a night to go do this Airbnb because they have started to do themed Airbnbs around our favorite properties. Things like
predicted with movie theaters, but they're doing it on Airbnb.
Yeah, Airbnb. But they did the House from Up, but most importantly, the one that I'm most excited for and the one I wish I could go to. They did the X-Men 97 X-Men cartoon X-Mansion, like to the point where it even looks like you're stepping into a cartoon, like everything's like.
Well, actually, when I looked at it, I was like, "Is this AI?"
Yeah, no, but it's actually full of people. There's actually people who are manning the mansion, and like it's like a live experience for like a weekend. And like they tell you what they assign you a superpower. You go into the danger room, and like then you go sleep on Ginger Billy's bed, or sleep in Nightcrawler's bed, or Wolverine's, or one of the Wolverines. You can recreate the photo of him longingly, the meme of him holding Jean Grey's picture, if you want. Go sleep in Wolverine's room. I don't know, but like. I don't know. It looks like a lot of fun. There's a giant sentinel head in the front yard, which I feel like that should have been cleaned up before we got there. But
a little bit, but yeah, that's all right. It's fresh.
Yes, it's a good idea. I think this is a fun idea, and goodness knows, like for how expensive it is to go to like amusement parks and to go to on destination vacations to go and have like a full experience for like I think it was $100 a night last I checked.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, folks. I mean, it's hard to get to upstate New York, but like, if you can get there, I don't know. Lee, where would you stay? Sorry, I have several questions. First off, what power would you want to be assigned in the X-Men power generator? Secondly, whose room would you want in the mansion?
Okay, there's like
there's a lot
answers there, and then there's the normal answers. The power I would most want is telepathy. Yeah, or just be able to psychologically, Professor X basically. That's pretty.
Yeah, you want to read people's thoughts.
I already kind of do, but that's okay. The room, Danger Room's a dream of mine.
Yeah.
All right, that would be pretty amazing. Cerebro would be another one.
Yeah, which is also there, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, like Logan's room is probably pretty boring. Scott's room is probably pretty boring.
Yeah.
So I would like to see the Danger Room, Cerebro. I don't think Professor X's powers. I have the hair. I have the power. But that's how I'd want to be assigned. What about you, Ray?
I would want Colossus. I would want the metal skin and super strength, and then just yell at everybody.
So there's an umpire in my son's little league who goes, I'm not kidding, he goes, strike! I'm like, oh my God, it's Colossus from the video game.
It's Colossus. For those who don't know, that's if you ever played the
character in that game.
100%. For those who don't know the X-Men arcade game, when Colossus unleashes his X power, which is basically kind of like has like an explosion that comes out of his body, he goes. So I would do that.
Burp like that. It's in. That's better. Okay. Note, Ray, I have that arcade machine 10 feet away from me in my office. You should come here and play on the arcade. We can bring the kids. There's 4 players on it. It's just like it was when we were kids. And Ray, guess what? Doesn't cost any quarters, buddy. Free play.
That's amazing.
Throwing the fishing rod out there.
But yeah, I think the Danger Room would be great. I definitely would want to check out the X-Men meeting room and Cerebro and all that other stuff. I think I agree with that. So, we mentioned some amusement parks there, and this is actually a very fun thing. Universal Orlando has announced after the great success of Super Mario Land here in California with Universal Hollywood, they are going to have their own version now down in Orlando, and it's obviously going to be bigger and better because they can build more stuff typically down in Orlando. You can't really build much here at Universal Hollywood because there's this thing called the 405 and the 101, these massive highways that it's like sandwiched between. So there's only so much you can do with Universal Hollywood.
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
The Californians from Saturday Night Live. Like, well, I took Mulholland and then I got off at Laurel Canyon.
Super Mario Brothers Land where you belong.
Yeah.
Just go YouTube the Californians.
It's a great bit. And especially now that I live in California and know exactly what all these streets are, I'm like, oh my God, that is so accurate.
We'll dump you back in Super Mario World where you belong.
Where you belong. Oh my God. And that's how a lot of people sound.
I don't think I could handle it, Ray. I don't know how you do that. I don't think I could go there with my Northeast mentality. Be like, all right, everybody, let's get to work. Well, I don't know, man. It's kind of
I'm going to Mario Land, man.
I'll never forget when Ray called me after he moved to California. Very frustrated, by the way. He was at work. It was 8:30, 9 a.m. And West Coast time, which is late here. And he said that he got an interoffice email or something that's basically said we're going to show up bright and early at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
My friends, not bright and early, first of all. Okay.
Bright. It's bright. It is bright by that time.
It's not early. If you get to work at 10 a.m., and I will say this as an employer, and you work past 6 p.m., sure.
Yeah.
Sure. The rule in my office, with some exceptions, you can show up and leave when you want as long as your work is done.
Yeah.
I don't care if you get here at 5 p.m. and work till 9 a.m. That's up to you. All right, as long as it makes sense. But don't act like you're getting up bright and early for 10 a.m. And Ray, it's also bright and early in LA at 7 a.m.
Yeah, that's
all right. All right. So, I don't know, guys.
I don't know, man. Get some work done. I don't know. I'm going to go instead get some waves down on the beach.
Both our producers are sitting in their office like, I wouldn't mind starting at 10 a.m.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's not fun sometimes. But anyway, Universal Orlando, they're going to have a bunch of new roller coasters. They're going to have a Donkey Kong Land as part of it. It's going to be great. They're going to have more rides and stuff than what we have here in Universal Hollywood because they have more space to build more stuff. But the Super Mario stuff at Universal, they have one in Japan. They have one in Hollywood. They've been hugely successful. It only makes perfect sense. Super Mario Brothers is one of the 20 biggest brands. I actually saw money-making brands in the world. Nintendo has 2 of the top 20 brands across the world in terms of properties they have because they own a piece of the Pokemon company. Obviously, Pokemon is very high up there, and then of course you have Mario, which I think grosses $40 billion a year in merch or something. That's nothing. Whatever. People are like, "Oh, Nintendo's gonna get sold." Not Nintendo. Nintendo's not going anywhere. You morons. Yeah. Anyway, Lee.
Yes, my friend.
You gonna go down to Super Mario Land in Orlando?
I haven't, but I knew it would be a hit. And did you ask me am I going to go?
Yeah, you're gonna go at some point.
I thought you asked me if I was there and wherever it is. Yeah, of course. I mean, look, Nintendo has always valued its characters and storylines over mass quantities of different games and cash grabs. They put the quality into their people. Their people are iconic. And now they're making a place for kids to go and to solidify that for years to come. You look at the macro of this, Ray, it's like, yeah, it's fun for us at our age to talk about going there. You bring your kids there, you just bought another 20, 30 years generational talent kid there.
Yeah.
All right. And you know who can't do that? Xbox and Sony. This is their time to shine. There's no God of War land.
No.
Okay.
Nor would I want to go there. That sounds awful.
Where are you?
You want to go there? It's called
Norway.
Greece.
Yes,
go to Greece.
Norway.
Yeah.
Right. And then on the Xbox side, I don't even know what I would do. But and I mean, Spider-Man Land exists. It's called New York City.
Yeah.
All right. You can get the authentic mugging experience there. So yeah, I'd love to go to the Magic Kingdom and then go to the Mushroom Kingdom the next day. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. So good on Nintendo and Universal for expanding that partnership. Speaking of partnerships, about 10 years ago, WWE and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles teamed up, and they had the Turtles dress as WWE wrestlers. You had Leonardo, I think, as John Cena. I think you had Donatello as Undertaker.
Who is who?
As John Cena! Yeah. So, and then you had Donatello as Undertaker, which made no sense whatsoever because, like, Undertaker's the dead man and Donatello. Well, then again, Donatello does die in like 6 iterations of the comics.
It's true.
So, but he doesn't come back as a zombie. But anyway, it was a weird choice, but they did that. Now they're doing the inverse. So they're doing WWE action figures dressed as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They have Seth Rollins dressed as Leonardo. Makes no sense. Kofi Kingston dressed as Michelangelo. Can see that one. Xavier Woods dressed as Donatello. Sure. Rey Mysterio as Raphael. Makes no sense. Roman Reigns as Shredder. I guess. And Cody Rhodes as Casey Jones, which makes no sense also because Casey Jones never beat Shredder. Even though Cody won it. And never will. And so it just... But yeah, so they wanted to get obviously their biggest wrestlers right now, obviously to get into this tie-in brand. Lee, what are your thoughts on this cross promotional effort from the two companies? And who would you have? What other wrestlers should have been Turtles? Because I don't think half of these guys fit.
It's the Barbenheimer effect, man. It's finding something fresh to merge something else. I like it. I like the idea of it, but if you overdo it, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, I like the idea. I disagree with the assignments, particularly for the wrestlers. I especially feel like Rey Mysterio, as much as I love him, he's old. Rey Mysterio should have been Splinter.
Easily. Yeah, I would agree with that 100 times. Yeah. Again, it's almost like if you're going to do this, do it with Ghostbusters. Do it with some other maybe iconic G.I. Joe or other action figures.
G.I. Joe is the natural fit. You already got Sergeant Slaughter.
I know, but it's not as big as Turtles. That's the deal. And again, look, it draws attention to both brands, and that's it's the Barbenheimer effect. I mean, everybody's looking for those Barbenheimer kind of things, including me as a business owner. I think we found one. Well, more on that later.
Ooh, that's an interesting tease. But yeah, so yeah, it's all about the brands. You know what? You all had a really big weekend brand wise. We mentioned it earlier. We had Free Comic Book Day, but also it was also Star Wars Day.
Yes,
we
was.
got
my favorite
weekend
of the year.
A lot of new trailers. Lee, we're gonna kick it off though. You and your family had a very good Star Wars Day, very good weekend. What did you do for a particular anniversary?
Well, Ray, back in 1999. You and I were gifted with the return of Star Wars in the theaters with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which I will remind everybody listening, because most of you may be young or you may remember, that from the years 1983 to 1999, there was no new Star Wars stuff that was worth anything. We got our asses kicked in school for liking it. If you had a lunchbox or a backpack, to you and me, we were best friends if we had known each other. But to the rest of the world, you were a Star Wars dork and loser. And if you would dare to read the expanded universe novels like Star Wars, Rogue Squadron, Star Wars, Shadows of the Empire, Star Wars. Ray, you had a whole bookshelf.
Heir to the
Empire. What a loser.
Introduced Grand Admiral Thrawn.
And then in 1999, George Lucas gifted us a film he paid for himself with one of the greatest action scenes in the history of cinema, in a pod racing scene that still holds up.
Yes.
25 years later. My friends, outside the Matrix and Star Wars Episode 1, I challenge you to find any film from 1999 in which the special effects or CGI holds up today. And the Matrix is even pushing it.
Yeah.
Okay? Find me anything. You won't do it. That scene was literally decades ahead of its time. Now, Ray, after this film came out in 1999, I was able to get an illegal CD-ROM disc with the film on it, and I am not kidding. I may have watched it 100 times over the summer of 1999 to 2000. That's how much I loved that movie. And 25 years later, I got to go see it in the theater again with my children, Logan and Alina, which they both were excited to see. They've been playing Star Wars Racer, believe it or not, on the Switch. So like they really enjoyed the pod racing scene. Funny moments. They enjoyed it. Funny moments for me. There was 3 of them. One was when Maul's double-sided lightsaber came out, which was huge in '99.
It was the first time we'd ever seen
seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Nothing to them. No, it meant nothing to them because they've seen this so many times now, which is pretty funny. Duel of the Fates, by the way, in the theater, always good. Second funny thing was when Padme reveals herself to be Queen Amidala.
Yeah.
I got a little gasp out of my daughter, which I thought was pretty cool. All right, to see that the first time. And then the last thing is at the end of the credits, because they gave a little bit of an acolyte scene at the end of the film, a little teaser scene, which was really good. You got like a 3 to 4 minute scene from the show that you can't see on TV. I wouldn't say it's worth going to the film. It's worth going to see the film again. But that's a nice little gift. But I had forgotten that at the end of the credits, this is how far we've come. At the end of the credits, you hear Darth Vader breathing. Which you got to remember, in '99, there are no post-credit scenes, really.
Yeah.
Like, this was a major tease. And I was sitting next to another guy that was probably my age, and we heard the breathing. I was like, I forgot about that. Right? And the kid's like, what? I'm like, that was a big deal in '99.
Yeah.
He goes, what does it mean? It means Vader is coming. But we all knew that. I got to say, too, Ray, Jar Jar Binks never bothered me then. No. Still doesn't bother me now. I never understood the hatred for Jar Jar Binks. And I enjoyed every minute of seeing this film. I'm going to say one more time, though. The pod racing scene, flawless. Yeah. There's nothing in that scene that I looked at and said, wow, that's dated. There were other parts of the movie where some of the aspect, I said this to you on the phone, that like Coruscant and the spaceships in the sky, like you can kind of tell now.
You can tell a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it still holds up. But man, that pod racing scene, I don't know how they did that. I don't know how they did that long ago. They made it look that good. Maybe it's because it's moving so fast. I don't know.
You can criticize George Lucas for a lot of things, but you cannot criticize him for being a visionary and for being able to
advanced technology and
special effects. Skywalker sound and industrial light and magic continue to be the standard bearers for special effects and sound in movies.
And I will say this too, that the pod racing scene was loved in '99 as well. Like this has always been a loved scene. But I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now. I mean, I remember being blown away by that. Yeah. But I don't remember feeling like appreciation of like, my God, that was a triumphant thing. Now we were younger then, teenagers.
Yes.
Man, it was great to see it in the theater. I really highly recommend, catch a matinee. You don't need to go spend $18 on it, but catch a matinee if you can, enjoy the film. And then the horrible realization at the end was that both Attack of the Clones and Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope are coming up with anniversaries. So Attack of the Clones is about to hit 25 years. And then I realized, Ray, that Star Wars Episode 4 is about to have its 50th anniversary.
Yep.
So are they going to release that in the theaters again?
Maybe.
Probably should.
Yeah, no, for
they
sure.
Have guts, they'll do the original version, not the special edition.
Yes.
In which every kid will be like, what is this?
Oh, like good, yeah. No,
you know what, Ray? I should say when they re-released the special editions in the theaters in like '97.
Yeah,
that was a big deal too because they added in new scenes, and that
was the first time I had ever seen them in theater.
Right. Well, me too. And it's also, I believe George Lucas said this was the test to see if we could do Episode 1.
Yeah,
because the people they went and saw those films, and that was their 30th anniversary.
He wanted to see if people were still interested. Like.
That was like their 25, 30 year anniversary. Yeah. Oh God, it's happened to us now.
Yeah, we're old.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, we are.
No, I'm middle-aged. There's a difference. You know us, audience. Are we middle-aged? Yes. Okay.
Yes, yeah. You mentioned the Matrix also. Carrie-Anne Moss was a huge part of the Matrix as Trinity. And now she's joining Star Wars as we get... We got a new Acolyte trailer, which is dropping June, which is basically Star Wars meets True Detective. That's kind of how I'm describing it to folks. It's kind of it's a High Republic, kind of a murder mystery kind of thing, where basically someone is hunting the Jedi, and who is it?
And they have a red lightsaber.
It's a Sith Lord. It's always a Sith Lord.
It's got to be a Sith Lord. It's whoever is the master and or apprentice at that time, which could be Darth Plagueis the Wise.
It could be a lot. Yeah, there could be a lot there. But it's interesting because the High Republic is an interesting time because there's so much to explore there.
Yeah, well, it's the end of the High Republic. It's the very end.
Yeah, it's what I think it's like 100 years before.
It's 100 years before New Hope.
Right.
So it's probably 2 Sith Lords ahead of Palpatine, right?
If even or even just one, because that's like 75 years before Episode 1. So
yeah. Well, the thing is that when you look at the show, by the way, Carrie-Anne Moss, the scene I saw after the Phantom Menace was her, and it's very much Trinity. All I could think of the whole time I was watching is like that's Trinity.
That's Trinity with a lightsaber.
Yeah, and she even talks like Trinity. I'm gonna guess her character's a little more than that, but we'll see. Sure. But this is the intriguing thing of the Acolyte Rey, the Acolyte, is that no matter what happens, none of these Jedi can survive.
No,
or at least their minds can't, having seen a Sith Lord, because no one knows they're coming. So either the Sith Lord's going to win and kill everybody, or something's going to happen where their minds are wiped, which is also possible using the Force.
Yep.
And making them puppets for the eventual appearance of the Empire. Now, I have read Darth Plagueis, which was a really, really good book until the very end. And I wouldn't be surprised if he is the apprentice in this time period, because when the book starts, he's already a master kind of looking for an apprentice who he finds in one named Sheev Palpatine. So I hope it's him as an apprentice, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. For sure. We're looking forward to that June 4th, the 2-episode premiere on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Trinity, help!
Yes. So that should be good. That should be a lot of fun. One last Star Wars announcement. We had a new trailer also for a Disney Plus show called Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy.
The original idea. Amazing.
Dropping September 13th. We're basically using the power of Lego. The entire
and the multiverse.
Yep. It gets mashed up. You get everything from Ewok bounty hunters to Darth Jar Jar.
Darth Jar Jar Binks, voiced by Ahmed Best.
Yes,
which is probably what it was supposed to be originally.
Which I'm very happy for his renaissance that is happening and his redemption in the eyes of Star Wars fans. To your point, that Jar Jar never deserved all the hate he got. Right. But yeah, no, this looks like it could be a lot of fun. I'm really curious to see how they mash it up. How long is it going to be? Is it a movie or is it a TV show?
What, the
Rebuild the Galaxy?
What do you mean? Is it a movie or TV show?
Well, is it like episodic or is it like just a 2-hour one-off kind of thing?
For the game?
It's not a game. It's a TV show, or it's on Disney Plus. It's not a video game.
I was under the impression this was going to be a video game.
No, it's not going to be. It's not a video game. It's a show or a movie. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
are you serious? This is a film that's even better for me.
4 episodes. It's a 4-episode limited series on Disney Plus. So
that's wonderful news. I didn't do my research on that. Obviously, I thought it was a game when I saw the trailer last night.
No, it's Disney. It's Disney Plus. Yeah,
well, it should be a lot of fun then. It's probably gonna be a very kiddie, campy, fun thing.
Yes,
that's fine with me.
Yeah, it's four episodes.
There's your Star Wars What If.
There you go. That's exactly what it is. So I just did a quick Google. It is a 4-episode.
You said it right. 4-piece. That's right.
4-piece. Yeah.
Yeah, you had it right.
Yeah, 4-piece show coming to Disney Plus September 13th. So yes. Oh yeah, it's not a video game. They're kind of done with the Lego Star Wars games.
Well, they've done them all multiple times.
Repeatedly. Yeah. Like they could always just re-release them, but they're kind of
they could do a Mandalorian one. That's the only thing they could do now.
Yes, agreed. That's fair. Fair. They could do all the episodes of The Mandalorian. But yeah, so yeah, no, that's that's coming September 13th. Leah, looking forward to that. That should be fun. 4 episodes.
Yeah, Star Wars season is upon us, my friends.
Yes. We are in Star Wars season. We're in X-Men season. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Because again, we mentioned before, Deadpool Wolverine, that's July. So that's right around the corner. That's 2 months away. It's 2 months away. We're almost there. So yes, you know what else is interesting? This is kind of also a little bit of a sports thing, but I'm moving into the geek section because it is arcades. I thought this was interesting because boy, they're just looking to take your money however they can, folks. Dave & Buster's has announced that they are now going to allow people to put friendly $5 bets on a variety of arcade games, from the basketball arcade, the shooting the hoops, to skee ball, to other arcade games that you can bet, because they saw what's happening with all the sports stuff, with all the DraftKings and all this other garbage. And they're like, you know what? We need in on that. We need more gambling is what they said. Not to mention that, we need to get Dave and Buster's, we're family friendly. We need to start getting these kids hooked on gambling in their youth. We thought this is the way to go. I hate this so much on so many levels for so many reasons. Dave and Buster's, just say you're losing money because nobody's going to the arcades anymore. Yeah. Just say it.
Or innovate
in some other way. This is pathetic. And the fact that you're targeting kids, even though they say, well, you're going to have to be 21 or over, whatever, it doesn't matter. The kids are going to see this.
So dad puts $5 on his child.
Yeah, it's bad enough they're already seeing DraftKings and FanDuel and all this other garbage on every commercial and every billboard and everything else. It makes me sick. I can't stand it. This is my one thing, folks. Look, if you gamble and do all this stuff, that's on you. But I am so sick of hearing about it, and I am so sick of it being shoved in my face. It makes me sick. Lee, your thoughts?
It's weird, Ray, because when I lived in the United Kingdom, this was very rampant gambling, but it seemed pretty controlled, and it seemed understood over there that you can really lose everything you have. So people put 5 or 10 here or there, but I never saw it get too out of control. I know it does, but it's like it was just kind of a thing you do, right? I don't have any faith in America that we can handle that.
I know people who have lost.
Well, look at the stock market and look how people treat that. And it's like
they treat it like a slot machine.
If you treat it like a slot machine, it will act like a slot machine. Right?
In other words, take all your money.
Well, it can make you a lot of money if you're patient and you understand what to do. But most people aren't. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, investing correctly is a known strategy to make you money. But gambling is a known strategy to lose you money, right? So it comes down to how you define the word gamble, right? If you're making a long-term 20, 30-year investment in the market, which is proven over the time period to make money, is that a gamble or is that an investment? That's an investment. If you go to Dave and Buster's and put money down on skee ball, that is not an investment, you schmucks.
It just feels like to your point, I feel like you and me, I'm like, all right, Lee, all right, Logan, I'm going to put $5 on your skee ball. You got to beat your sister.
Yeah, your entire worth, son, is based on this game of skee ball. The other thing too, Ray, is like, this is what kind of kills me. I know people like escapism, and I'm not against certain types of escapism, video games and movies. But, when Rice Krispies cost $7 and you got to live on crispy rice, thus bookending this episode again. Don't do it. Dave and Buster's, I understand why you're getting into this. I do. I understand the business side of it. You did hold out as long as you can.
I understand the appeal. I do get it.
Innovate. Find another reason for people to come there. I don't know, dude. People do weird things when they're dying. And I love Dave and Buster's growing up, but like now it's like I'd rather just have a pizza and hang out. And I am lactose intolerant, Ray.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it'll be good while you eat the pizza. It'll be later that you pay the price. So just like with gambling with Dave and Buster's, you'll love it while you're doing it, and then you pay the price.
Full circle there. Well done, my friend.
Speaking of paying the price, oh boy, we've had some big video game news the last couple of days. Oh, where to start? What company that screwed everything up first? Let's start with our usual punching bag, Sony. Sony decided Sony doesn't understand a lot. And basically, they've seen how much Microsoft has been able to really grow and flourish by, obviously, their tie-ins with Microsoft and Windows and Steam and PC games. Right? The fact that you can get your Game Pass games on PC and Xbox now, it is such a bigger value and has been a surefire moneymaker. So Sony has tried to start putting some of their first-party games also on PC. And one of those is the hugely popular Helldivers 2. Now, I'm not a big fan of Helldivers 2. I feel like the appeal has worn out very, very quickly. But Sony, in their infinite wisdom, was like, why are people playing Helldivers on their Steam account? Why aren't they using their PlayStation Network account? Because Steam is a completely different service. So then Sony's like, well, we're going to make it so that you have to be logged into both to play on PC. Where, by the way, you can't get a PlayStation Network in like 75 countries that all happen to be playing Helldivers 2. There's also a lot of people on PC who don't have PlayStation Network accounts and don't want to make one.
But Ray, the money.
You're not getting any extra money for this.
Ray, the money. That's the money says to the PlayStation Network.
It's a bad branding thing.
Ray, if they go to other places, we won't be able to have them on the PlayStation Network. So we're going to have them on the PlayStation Network.
Now you're not going to have anybody even playing Helldivers 2, or at least they weren't.
Have you seen my stapler?
At least to Sony's credit, they backtracked as fast as they could until they supposedly made a mistake with another game. I think it might have been Ghost of Tsushima or something else. I'm not sure. That's also on PC. Trying to do this. They were supposed to put an update today that was basically going to make it by basically the end of May, where you had to have a PlayStation Network account for Helldivers 2. They nixed that because in a matter of a week, 170,000 people asked for refunds, and Steam was going to give it to them. And this is the first time in Steam history that Steam is going to offer refunds for a game where people played for more than 2 hours. That's their rule. If you play less than 2 hours and you ask for a refund, you don't like it, they will give it to you, right? Because then they're like, well, that person didn't like it, obviously. So Steam was going to give back all this money, which is going to come right out of Sony's pocket. The reviews were instantly tanked. Like, the score went, and to their credit, as soon as they repealed this back, they went back, like, I have not seen, like, this is literally a fan base holding a corporation to task. And Sony's like, hey guys, we're sorry. We don't understand the PC nature. We don't understand PC video games. Which, by the way, makes you just sound like a bunch of freaking schmucks because you're a video game company.
Right. Do I hear the bus?
Sony, you are the first person in front of the bus today.
No, I thought the MLB umpires were in. Well, they're
on the bus too. The NBA umpires are on the bus. Sony gets a glancing blow because at the very least they did backtrack and they are trying to figure things out. But boy, was this was huge. This was egg on their face. And a lot of people have said it. They are not going to play Sony games on PC now because they don't trust Sony to understand what they want or where they come from.
Once you lose that, you have lost, period.
Yes. You lose their trust.
Come on down to Dave & Buster's and play the skee ball and basketball machines for the low cost of a price of Rice Krispies. You too can win crispy rice. Come on down, Dave & Buster's right now, Philadelphia, East Side, any night.
Yeah. And then on the heels of this, because it feels like now we're in a competition to a race to the bottom, Xbox announces the shutting down of 2 more studios today, Tango Gameworks and Arcane Austin, as well as the restructuring of 2 other studios and they did not say whether this will be part of the 1,900 layoffs they promised in January, or if these will be in addition to those 1,900 layoffs. So that needs to still be seen. But this is just showing that there's a lot going on in the gaming industry right now, and none of it is good. Tango Gameworks and Arcane Austin both put out a flop last year, and they're at the point now where if you miss once in the game industry, you're on the chopping block. And that's it. Hundreds of people are going to lose their jobs again because they made one mistake. They made games that weren't great. Not even bad, just not great. And honestly, I don't even argue that Tango Gameworks' game Hi-Fi Rush, it's a good game. Just not a lot of people played it. It was actually a solid game. I actually enjoyed it. I will say Redfall from Arcane, that did suck, but that was a miss. But this is a big deal for Xbox. And again, it just feels like there's nobody's feet being held to the fire. Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty, the top 3 folks at Xbox, they're just kind of like, meh. And at this point, somebody's head needs to roll because this has been going on for a while. Now, I also understand that the part of this was a lot of resources were spent by Microsoft to make the Activision merger. All those lawsuits and all that red tape that Sony put up did work in draining a lot of Microsoft spare fundage. But at the same time, it also hurt Sony, by the way, because it cost them a lot of petty cash to have those lawsuits.
Right.
And now both of these companies Even though, by the way, I know Microsoft made $22 billion profit, not revenue, profit last year. It feels like these companies now are tightening their belt and they're making the guys on the bottom pay for their mistakes and their bad business decisions. And nobody at the top, nobody in that C-suite is paying for it. No pay cuts, no firings, no layoffs there. No. Fire the developers because people aren't a resource, Lee. People are disposable in the world, not just video games. It feels like it's everywhere. It feels like people aren't a resource for these massive corporations. They're replaceable. They're trash. And hundreds of people now have lost their jobs. Microsoft, you are also in front of the bus.
Ray, look, this is how this goes. This is nothing new. We've seen this happen before.
Correct.
Your thoughts are not incorrect at all. When stuff stops working, which I think is pretty imminent.
Yep.
In the societal level,
yep.
People will start voting smartly again. When stuff stops working, people will rise up and try and take control again. And I think we are on the verge of that. Now, how that manifests itself, sometimes it's in a wonderful industrial revolution that creates lots of progress. Sometimes it's World War II. So we will see what it manifests itself as. I'm hoping a little bit more towards the industrial revolution side of things, which has its own types of casualties. But I'm going to say it again, that when stuff stops working, I'm not trying to be funny. When Rice Krispies are $7 and people have had enough, things start to change pretty quickly. And politicians do as well. And businesses do as well. And I think people are about to have enough. I think we're right there. I think after November, people will have had enough.
The games industry needs to unionize. Mm-hmm. I've been saying this for years. For years. The easiest way to protect your job and to protect your livelihood is to work together, is to band together. What a concept! You're not in competition with your neighbor. You should work with them.
What?
And unionize so that you're not taking advantage of.
I don't understand it. What is team building?
What a concept. Oh, and by the way, Nintendo announced that they will unveil their next console within the next 9 months. Because,
there you go.
Because they are doing just fine over in Japan.
And again, Nintendo values things heavily that
very differently.
Yeah, like the brand, the team, the people, the legacy is all.
They are infamous that when things go wrong, the first thing they do is the C-suite takes a pay cut.
Right.
That is the first thing that. Now, sometimes that isn't enough to save jobs, but it is the first. They try as hard as possible. That is their last resort, not their first resort.
Right. Well, that's what I would do too if I had to. And I'm not just saying that. That's how I feel about it. Again,
Iwata was infamous for taking a 50% pay cut during a rough time during Nintendo's history with the Wii U. Saved a lot of people's jobs.
Right. All this talk is getting me to think. I took a walk around the world to ease my troubled mind, and I left my body lying somewhere in the sands of time. But I watched the world float to the dark side of the moon. I feel there's nothing I can do. Yeah. Ray, if I go crazy, will you still call me Superman?
Well, we have a new Superman, and we saw the first picture of what he looks like in his suit with James Gunn.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, Ray. This picture, it's cool. It's cool. But I'm looking at this. I'm like, there must have been a rumor like, what can we do with Superman that hasn't been done before? Yo, have him putting his boot on while Brainiac attacks outside.
Oh my God.
The memes of him and Payless trying on shoes
it's unbelievable. Like,
I'm not against it. I appreciate
the suit looks fine. He looks like the last guy, honestly.
I mean, it's just it looks fine. I appreciate it's a new villain that we haven't seen before. And I'm saying this sincerely. I really hope they do a great job with this.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't care right now. I felt no excitement when I saw that picture.
I felt disgust. I'm like, why is he putting on his shoe when Brainiac is blowing something up outside?
And this is the geek mind. My brain went, well, he must be at super flash
super
speed.
He's got to be.
And everything is slowed down because he's putting his shoe on.
But he looks so casual.
Well, he's Superman. Ray, if I'm alive and well, will you still be there holding my hand if I keep you by my side with my superhuman?
Be careful. We don't want to get flagged again for all of this stuff.
Yeah. Okay, listen. James Gunn, obvious fan of the show. I believe in you. I really do believe in you, James Gunn. I think you're going to do a great job. But the best thing you can do is show absolutely nothing about this film until it's released.
The last possible minute. Yeah.
Right. I've been saying this for years too, Ray. You want to have a smash at the box office? No one has the guts to do this. Don't put out a trailer. Just say Superman comes on this date. There will be no trailer. You want a box office hit? I said they should have done this with Spider-Man No Way Home. They didn't.
Yeah.
I understand why, but the trailer actually caused more problems than I think it needed to.
Yeah.
All right. You want to have the guts. We all know the story. Don't do a trailer or put something out there that's black with the Superman logo and the date.
That's it. And then the John Williams theme. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, I want that again. I want that every time. That is the only Superman theme. That is it. And it's Xavier's point, Ghostbuster marketing. Ghostbusters just very, very last minute. We didn't start hearing about really Ghostbusters Frozen. We knew the date. We saw one promotional picture, and we didn't hear anything until 2 months.
I mean, the trailer was Paul Rudd going, ho, 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 ho. I mean, come on. Easy. I mean, I'm going to say it again. I really believe in James Gunn. I think he has a total grip on this genre. But I'm not saying this gleefully. I just felt nothing. I saw the picture. I was like, what is this? I thought, is this AI generated?
I thought it was BS. Yeah, I thought it was BS at first.
He's put his boots on, man. He's put his boots on. So just stop showing stuff. I don't need to see anything. I need a good film.
No, I wonder though, is how much of this is the terrible Warner Brothers marketing department too?
I don't know. Look, let's just
they're awful.
I've been saying this for years.
They're just awful.
Marvel works in film because it's humans trying to be gods.
Yeah.
And DC has always worked on television. Well, it still does. Because it's gods trying to be human.
Except for Batman.
Even Batman on TV is still fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. It does work well in film most of the time. Yeah. But I'm saying this again, DC has a place on TV. It did well. The Arrowverse lasted forever.
Yep.
I mean, you guys, the reason why people like 30-minute doses, X-Men's proven this, is that it's so hard to do believable backstories for these characters in film.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard to do Green Lantern in film. It's really, really hard to do Superman in film. It's hard. How are you going to explain Brainiac in 2 hours? How are you going to do that?
It also better not be a 3-hour movie. For the love of God.
How can you explain Brainiac in 3 hours? You still can't do it.
This is my point. I agree. But you still don't.
Marvel knew this. That's why they did 10 years of buildup.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, outside Batman, because he's human, it always works better in TV. And what kills me, Ray, is they were actually first to the TV game, and they screwed it up.
Yeah.
Because they screw up everything. They were there before Marvel. They were. Before Disney Plus was doing shows, they had HBO, and they were doing it. And before that, they had some stupid app that sucked. And they still messed it up.
You blew it!
Even Nintendo has figured it out. We can't do a Knuckles film. Well, let's make a TV show. Great idea.
Yeah, well, that's Sega, but still.
Sega. Who owns Sega?
Yeah. Sega's Sega.
No, Nintendo owns it.
No, Nintendo doesn't own it. Sega.
I'm not talking about business right now, Ray.
Okay. Yes, Nintendo. Yeah, Nintendo does own Sega in that sense.
They own Sega. Appeared in Nintendo games. I don't remember Mario ever appearing in a Sega game.
Yes, no, that
Nintendo
is true.
owns Sega.
Yes, no, I have to watch that. I'm behind. I have to watch that, and I have to watch Fallout.
Fallout's really good.
I'm very behind.
It's very good.
So I've been looking for work.
That's also very good.
Yes, but yeah, no, it
Right, I'm gonna say it again. I'll bring you crispy rice. You can sit on the couch and play the X-Men all day. Just hang out here. That you can sleep on the couch. I don't care. I'd love to show up to work and be like, "Get out of here, man! I'm just sleeping." Ray, it's bright and early. It's 9 a.m. We don't start work till 10.
I remember one day I had like car problems and I showed up at 11 and then they got all pissy and I was like, guys, I'm still gonna get my work done before all you do.
Agrees, just schmucks. Anyway, listen, one more time. James Gunn, love you.
Yes.
Big fan. I don't need any promotion. Just make a good film and you got me. Simple.
Yeah, that image was awful. You're very close to the bus, James Gunn. You're very close, but we're gonna let it slide. This time.
He's putting his boots on. He's putting his boots on. He's Superman. He's putting his boots on, Ray. That's again the meeting. What's something we haven't shown Superman doing before? Putting his shoes on. Great idea. Let's make it happen.
That'll make us think he's human. He's just like us. He's just like one of us.
One at a time. That's exactly what
they thought.
His boots on 1 foot at a time, like the rest of us.
James Gunn will be left off the bus, but all the rest of Warner Brothers, you're still on front. You're in front of the bus.
Oh my God, you guys,
idiots!
You had it with. I loved Man of Steel. I don't care if that's unpopular. It was such a great film.
Blew it.
You blew it.
Why
did you say that name?
This was a bit of a longer episode. We had a lot of stuff to go over today.
By our old standards, this was a short episode.
That's by old standards. By new standards, it was a long episode. Poor Professor X, poor Zavi is like, I want to go home.
He's smiling. He's enjoying all this.
Oh, good. All right. Well,
we appreciate it a lot. Like these geezers just got to get off the air already.
I know, old men shaking their fists at the clouds. So anyway, stay tuned. Yes. Also, Zavi just put the graphic there. Like, comment, subscribe. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
Put it on the smash face, and
we've got a mashup. We've got a great mashup coming up for you later in the week. Be sure to stay tuned for that. So for Lee and Lee Papyrus, for Lee Elias and Lee Papyrus, and Crispy Rice, I'm Ray Carsillo. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you later in the week.
Bye,
everybody.